Thursday, noon, Florida, extreme heat. And here we are again. And we are live. And this is Toni Weel with Sara from Virtuous Unicorns. And now I have an itch in my throat and I actually need to cough, but I'll swallow it. My gosh, such a weird week with this extreme heat all over the place, and then these scary fires in Hawaii. The whole island is gone, and I just heard from Sara about a big fire of some people, Sinos in British Columbia, who lost about everything. And that made me think of not having an insurance. What the things that we think about, It's lives were not lost, and from what I understood, the animals were safe. So that is a good thing. But my gosh, to have to go through that is just crazy.
Yeah, it's devastating. We've had that happen to one of our family members as well too. And it's devastating. And thank God there was no life lost either in that situation or their animals. But to lose all of your memories and they were older, they lost all their photos, they lost, everything. And it's devastating for sure. I'm going to put a message out there to make sure that I can share that information. And if so, I'll definitely provide a link to that too.
Yeah, you can put whatever in the chat so people can see it.
And the Hawaiian thing, I first heard about it last night, and that is truly devastating. And your friend that lives over there, were they affected? Or are they by that area?
I don't know. I don't think she is on the Big Island, but I'm not quite sure. She could actually be on Maui. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've spoken with her. But yes, I mean, all these things going on. Mm-hmm. It's you take a deep breath and it's like you count your blessings.
Absolutely.
But things like that can happen in an instant, and when you cannot even prepare for that.
No.
I remember one time I prepared for the hurricane, because there was a big one coming. And it was not even the first one being on this in this house, because I'd been in that year we had 3 hurricanes in a row. I was in a different house, and the first one is scary, and the second one is less scary, and the third one you start almost looking out of the window. Makes me think about with one of them. I had 2 tiny little kids, and I was like, my gosh, the roof blows up, what am I going to do? And or if the roof caves in, who knows what's happening. So I was sitting in the bathroom. I had put the kitties in a carrier. They were so tiny. They were just a handful. They were maybe 3-4 months old. And I figured, okay, let's protect my brain. I put my motorcycle helmet up, and I was sitting in the bathroom on the toilet. It's like, okay, let's wait this out.
Yeah, wearing a helmet is not a bad thing. Stuff hits people in the head all the time.
Yeah, well, that was the only thing that I could think of that I could do, and I was alone there. And I've seen trees going down on my property, then on the what is it, the electric, what do you call it, the power lines.
Yep.
And being without power, it was But other than that, I've never experienced big damages. So that's what I say, I absolutely count my blessings and very grateful. But we should pray for them that they get through it okay.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes so easy to say, you take a deep breath and you move on, but to see all the memories are in your mind, they are. But still, I have this. I was cleaning out some drawers, and I came across old pictures, really old pictures when I was like 9-10 years old, with a big smile. And then that picture is now in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that will never go away. But looking at I was in that moment again. It was in Amsterdam, getting on one of these boats that go through the canals. And I had this happy smile. So right away, you are in that moment then. And that is actually kind of the beauty of memories.
Mhm.
It works kind of the same with what is it? When you hear music or you smell something, memories are back right away.
Yep. We talked
And
about a couple, I don't think maybe it's a couple shows ago, the smell of suntan lotion, how it brings back memories of summers and stuff.
yeah, well, not for me. I hated that stuff. For some reason, I never wanted it. But what can it be when a person from childhood on refuses certain things?
Hmm.
It was they, of course, my mom's what she said was law. So until I was 12 years old, I didn't go against it. That darn milk, I absolutely did not want it, and I was forced. And health problems, somewhat cleared up when I didn't have to drink that milk anymore. So when you're in your teens, 12 years old, the rebellious years start, and that was the end of that. But that you already know as a child what is not good for you. And I don't know why I never wanted sun lotion. I see only the last few years we know what it's doing. We didn't know that before.
Right. And I mean, we never put on suntan lotion every day or sunscreen or whatever. And from what I remember, it was never in our makeup back in the day either. Nothing like that, like it is now. But it would, like, if we were going to the beach or we were going to Florida, that was the only times we were ever had suntan lotion put on us as children. But my mom said they used to put baby oil on themselves and lay out even on the roof or lay out on the blacktop of the driveways and just get sun like that. And, you know, thankfully, nobody in my family, I know it's not from the sun, but nothing like that has been, skin cancers or anything like that in our family where people could actually blame it on the sun. But now you hear all the time with all the SPF and everything, people having skin cancers, melanomas, and things like that. So I don't understand why people can't see that it couldn't have been the sun. It's the stuff that's going on within your body and coming out.
Yeah, isn't it actually crazy that when we were young, for me it's a little longer ago,
Mhm.
but you didn't hear about skin cancer. You heard about I was in the Netherlands, there was no skin cancer. It was like, oh yeah, that is in, the tropics or in Australia, but not where I am. Well, we didn't hear much about cancer anyway. And later on, I mean, my whole family, my uncles, they all died of prostate cancer. These days it's like everybody seems to have prostate problems. You didn't hear that in the 60s,
Mm-mm.
70s.
Nope. My grandfather and my uncle, which that would have been his father, both passed of prostate cancer. And while my uncle was literally, he was passing while we were there, the doctor said that if he would have been on, which they said, a vegetarian diet where they would have gave up the milk and the dairy, I'm sorry, the dairy and the meat, then it would not have progressed like this. And they
Got it.
literally said that to me. And I look at my mom and I'm like, see? And don't get me wrong, we tried so hard to get my uncle away from his diet and everything like that. But he tried too, but it was very hard and everything on him to just drop everything and change at that point, and he didn't make it. And even at his funeral, some of the guys he worked with said that he would toss away our lunch and just go to lunch with them. And I mean, it's everybody's journey. It's where everybody needs to be. And we tried our best, and I didn't even know back then everything I know now. We're at, I think he's been gone 8-9 years now. And so even how far our journey has come to and what more we have learned as well. Back then we were giving him, more of, like, he was eating lots of salads, lots of greens, and I was not focusing on the fruits. And if only we could go back, and you think that all the time, if I could go back and do this, but at the same time, would he have accepted it too, or would he have done this? But I'm a very firm believer that even it's hard, everything does happen for a reason. And it just helps to point you and help you grow even further along your journey so that you can help others and yourself as well. It's hard to understand it all too when you're in the middle of it and see that big picture, but the tapestry really is pretty as it continues along when you can keep stepping back and seeing how it is progressing. And the closer you are to nature, the closer you are to the foods that you're eating, the fruits, and you can start to see it. You can see it unfold. And when something does happen, you can step back and be like, oh man, I see it, or I trust it. That's the biggest one, is just trusting it too. And like I said, the tapestry is beautiful as you can start watching it come together.
Yeah, but it's not always that easy when you are in the middle of your own misery and cannot figure out, which way to go or what to do.
Yeah.
Oftentimes fear does help, but then there is not only the fear of the illness that you supposedly have, there's also the fear, is this is going to work? And what we do, change our diet. And I actually know of people who are so afraid that this is another hopium way of living, that they don't even start because they may be disappointed. And then they stay in with the same problem that only progresses, their acidity in the body only progresses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've seen that now quite a few times. And you get at a point like, you know what to do, but you're not doing it, and you're afraid that it may not work. So,
or some people are afraid of the detox, or afraid, am I going to be able to go out anymore? I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to use my pots and pans or this pretty bowl set I just got, or what am I going to do with my KitchenAid? Or, I mean, I hear all kinds of stuff from, like real worries all the way down to, what am I going to do with this new set of bowls I just got?
yeah.
Display them and look at them then, if that's what you like. I mean, put your fruit in them. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, even all last week I kept getting messages of that the woman that passed away. And I was actually speaking with my husband about it too. And I said, people die every single day, thousands and thousands of people of heart disease, kidney disease, all kinds of stuff that is based on the standard American diet. I said, but then one person who is supposedly vegan, raw vegan, passes away, and it's like, oh my gosh, and it freaks out so many people.
Yeah, it freaks out the vegans, the vegetarians, the raw vegans, anyone who is on another diet. And it gives validation to the people who eat carnivorous and are on keto. Like, see, I was right. That is not the right diet. And all of a sudden, it's only about that.
Yep.
And so that absolutely is sad. And yes, I have I have had the same this week. And because the way that news they spin the news around, they can make it believable. But when people do not know what we know, it puts doubt in their minds. So we have to explain again. I mean, we it's the same as with others who died at a too young age in what we feel. Although we have to accept this is their journey, and if they would not have died while they were on this diet, they would have died anyway. So it's that is my idea. I may be completely wrong, but that's my opinion.
Yep.
But yes, not only thousands of people dies all over the world, because this is now in from Dutch newspapers. I've seen it in others. It's all over the world because it's on the news everywhere, and it is a crazy attack on eating fruit. And to be honest, I see that more and more. And we see the quality of the fruit getting worse. 2 years ago, it wasn't as bad as it is now. So why? Because there is more awakening in these last few years. People learned more. So it's going to be, not that easy for us to guide people through a healthy way of living. And to be honest, even if people feel that they don't want to get on all fruit, it's like leave at least the foods that are killing you, eliminate that. And if you want to eat, other foods, you know what, I cannot even come up with another good food. If you do not want to go the fruitarian way all the way, it's even difficult, because I know Dr. Morse even said, don't do grains. There's a reason for it. Your body cannot heal with grains. But if you want to do something like that, then do millet. Well, there is a company that makes millet bread, and it's not bad at all. If you toast it, it's pretty decent. But for me, the response in my body is just as bad as when I eat grains. So it's not helping. But are there really alternatives? I mean, the millet stuff even comes in pastas. There are pastas made from millet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are better ways, but how do we, if we should not cook, or I think the best thing would be then to not eat any processed foods. Whatever you find in a package, that's not food.
Right. 100% no. I mean, my body handles sweet potatoes well, even salads it'll handle, but what I cannot handle is oils and fat. I mean, almost immediately my stomach is hurting from oils and fats. Like I'm very sensitive to those. But and I do sweet potato better than I do a potato. But I mean, mainly, especially summertime, it's really, but I don't know. I mean, last winter, I don't know, all this stuff kind of runs together. I do really need to journal more. But last winter, I mean, I don't really remember even getting cold, really. I mean, yeah, I mean, if I was, I don't know, even when I'm outside working at the barn, like I'm working, I'm not cold. So very rarely do I actually just like go outside and stand outside in the cold to see if I get cold. But so I don't know, like I'm always moving and
Bare feet in the snow.
yeah, exactly. And I don't like I'll have leggings on. But I do not and they're not that main brand legging either. So I don't wear those. What we talked about last week.
I don't even know what brand. I was going to ask you, but I don't even know what brand you were referring to.
It's the really popular yoga pant, starts with an L.
I don't know that kind of stuff.
I'll talk to you about it after then. Yeah, so it's not those. And then I just wear boots, and I do have like it's a hoodie Carhartt that's called I don't know, I've had it for so long, and that's all I wear. And I do wear gloves because I touch metal, but that's it. So and I'm pretty good at that. But yeah, my body cannot handle the oil at all. And salt, like I've had a little bit of salt a while ago, I did not like it either. So
No.
like I said a million times, I'm so boring. I just like plain stuff, and I stick to my main things all the time. Maybe it's something psychological, because growing up, I always had stomach problems, stomach issues. Even when I was transitioning, I had the sour stomach. So I use crackers a lot and stuff like that. But yeah, so I just psychologically worry that my stomach's going to start hurting again one day or something. So I just stick with what makes me feel good every day. And I still do need to up my water content, but I do definitely try on that, especially during the summer. I am a little bit more thirsty. But other than that, I mean, it's just fruits, and I like butter lettuce. And I do mix my strawberries with my salad, which I know we're not supposed to, but again, my stomach handles that. And keep in mind, like, I'm not detoxing. I'm not trying to heal anything at this point. I am simply just putting easy stuff for my body to digest in my body, so that when my body does need to go and work in its departments, it can go to its departments and fix what it needs to and regenerate and help my body heal anything that may need to be healed that I'm not aware of.
Yeah,
So
isn't it that we are so, the whole society has become so fixated on foods. I mean, we constantly talk about foods because we know that is what's caused all the symptoms that we have in our body.
Mhm.
But it doesn't matter where you look. I mean, I live in a very small town, and I think in the last few years, about four, if not more, I may not all know that, 4, 5, 6 new restaurants have opened. More chain restaurants. It's just one next to the other. It's like you have 4 or 5 on a row. The whole town only has a few streets.
Yeah.
And it's all in its, it has some outskirts, but it's mostly, in the downtown area, and right around it, it's all restaurants. And it's like we talk about it. We have the 3 meals plus the 2, 3 in between meals, the snack days. And I think, you just have to let it go. It's like food is not, we need it to survive, but we don't live to eat. You get to a point you have to eat so you can live, but it is absolutely the other ways around.
Mhm.
And that brings me to something that you just mentioned, about restaurants and wooden combs and brushes. You have to explain that a little bit more, because I heard part of it and I was like, what? How does that work?
So I stumbled upon some information about how we used to use wooden combs. And now it seems like everybody is using a plastic comb for your hair or your beard, or even our brushes are all made from plastic as well. And we are electrical beings. And anyone that knows that has taken a balloon and rubbed it on your hair and made the static electricity happen, you can see that's what happens. A lot of us will experience more of this in the winter time. If you live in colder climates where you'll be full of electricity, you're shocking or you're getting shocked. And when you comb your hair, you have a lot of static in your hair. Well, I started going down the rabbit hole of wooden brushes and wooden combs. And that kind of stuff, if you use that instead of the plastic ones, it takes the static out of your hair, or it doesn't charge it any further, such as what a metal or plastic will do. Men that have beards, if you comb your beard with a plastic comb or a metal comb, that'll cause static, can cause breakage in your beard, and it can also cause that on your hair too, for the women as well. So by using wooden combs, which I do not have any yet, but I got them on order. My hairbrush though is wooden, but the bristles are still plastic. And so I'm gonna order some of those. And the one I'm looking at, I think, is a sandalwood comb is what it's called. So I'm gonna use that and see how that goes. And my husband will use it as well too. And to see, and so we were kind of laughing about the electricity, like we'll be outside barefoot on the dirt, brushing our hair with wooden combs for full grounding experience. So we'll see how that goes. But the other thing about the restaurants, which when I was kind of going down the rabbit hole on this one, they talked about the static that we produce that comes off of us. They discovered something in the 80s where they can, I don't know if it's a machine, and please don't quote me, but if anyone knows anything about this, I would be interested in receiving more information. But it's like a machine that can tap into our energy fields that give you a pleasant experience for being in that restaurant, even though you may not like the food or even the atmosphere. I mean, I'm sure the food's not going to be terrible, but it almost like tricks you into thinking you had a great experience there, and so that you will come back. And they did this, I guess, in the 80s, and I guess they were launching it into some of the restaurants out in California during that time, and that it has just become more popular nationwide now. So I don't know, but it's our own electricity that we produce coming off of us. So if you can maybe help eliminate that by using the wooden comb, and the wooden comb could produce a lot of other benefits for you too, with helping with grounding and your hair, maybe becoming fuller, healthier, and thicker. Of course, that the comb is not going to be the only thing that's going to produce that for you. It's going to also be what you put in your body too, and your hydration levels. But I thought that was very interesting. So we are going to be ordering some wooden combs and brushes for my family, and my mom's also going to get one too. So we will definitely be experimenting with those and see how they work.
Now you're gonna wear wooden shoes too?
Yes. What's so funny is my uncle through marriage, his family is from Holland. And so he does have the wooden shoes. And I used to walk around in them all the time when I was a kid, I remember, because I liked how they sounded. But I have thought about that. And I did have I think they're called Dansko maybe, but
Yeah,
they're wooden clogs.
yeah, my husband wears those.
Yeah.
And
So
because it's too weird here to wear the big wooden shoes. And even in Holland, you don't see them much. Funny thing is that at one time, I had when I had my motorcycle travel business, I had a large group, and we went from I think it was from Chicago, where all the motorcycles arrived because they took their own motorcycles from the Netherlands on a I think it was with an airplane that time. And one of these guys, and we were traveling from Chicago to Milwaukee, from Milwaukee to Sturgis, where the big bike rally is. It's going on right now, by the way.
yeah.
And one of these guys was wearing these big yellow wooden shoes on his BMW. Well, I can tell you there were always people around him, because that was such a sight. And where you have thousands of bikers, they weren't like, yeah, this was interesting.
That is interesting.
So he got all the attention that he would ever want, but actually he was always on wooden shoes on his bike. So it was kind of funny. And yeah, my husband has wooden shoes here, but he wouldn't wear it. It would actually be kind of hilarious. But the Dansko, that is the bottom part is wood, and the top part is leather.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to look them up right now to see if they ever came out with like a vegan option for their shoes. But yeah, back when we were teenagers, they were very popular and everybody had them.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. They well, I'm gonna be looking that up while we talk, but and what makes it more crazy nowadays is that the Croc shoe, the rubber shoe, is so popular now too, and so everybody wearing rubber on their feet.
Yeah, and that is where you don't do any grounding anymore. And that's the same with concrete. Actually, did you know that you can still ground on concrete?
Yeah, does it have to be like treated or something? I can't remember what it is.
It has to be just a rough concrete, and as soon as you paint it, it seems to be gone. I don't know what's in the paint that would stop it.
Right.
But and I don't have a lot of options here to go bare feet, and especially not with the fire ants. But I have one small piece. I put a bench there, and that's where I can sit with my feet in the grass.
Yeah.
And sometimes, it doesn't need to be that you walk in it. It will be great, but even if your feet are not used to it, it can be, not too pleasant if you walk bare feet in the forest, for instance. So I would stay on the grassy part. And actually, I hated shoes my whole life, and was always bare feet until I got diabetes, and I was like, no, you can't do that anymore. So I started wearing the flip-flops or sandals.
We were always barefoot, always. I remember we would always even see who can stand on the blacktop longest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just seeing, but yeah, you do get used to it. When you first start going barefoot, it feels weird. But you start out in the grass, and I mean, I do not walk around the barn barefoot. I don't clean stalls barefoot. But I walk outside barefoot all the time.
Yeah, that is why my symptoms got worse. Well, we know the vaccines played a big part in it. At a older age, because I was always bare feet, so I was always grounding, and I never even realized what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's looking back now, it's a lot more interesting with what we know now than it was ever before.
Mm-hmm. What I love about remembering back is that how in tune we were as children. And
Yeah.
we just didn't really I mean, we didn't understand back then. Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't understand back then, but we knew we were onto something.
Yeah. I posted an image about sunlight a few days ago, or a day ago, yesterday, and that was about sunlight, and it is what people think it does. People think with sunlight it's only about vitamin D, but on that same image it shows what it also does, and it's like it helps with the endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, melatonin, antioxidants, ATP production, nitric oxide, hormesis. I have not heard of that. Sirtuins, I have not heard of that. Apoptosis, NAD plus, and another word I have trouble pronouncing, auto, 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 PHAGY. How do you pronounce that?
PHAGGY.
Yeah, PH, auto, and then PHAGY.
It probably is an F. Autophagy. I don't know.
It's a word that I hear a lot, and I should then have remembered how to pronounce it, but my apologies, I do not. So the whole sunlight is way more than what we think. We think that we only need it for vitamin D, but there's way more to it. That's why we always have, like, the sun is life. It gives life.
It does.
And yes, even if it is cloudy, the sun is still there.
Mm-hmm.
You still can get the benefits.
That just made me think of it too. Like, I mean, I think when we all listen to each other, I think we're all kind of on the same page as if the earth is flat or round too. But if it were flat, can you still get some of the rays then, even when it's dark? So I don't.
Well, it's
That'd be
dark. It's dark for a reason, yeah.
Yes, but is it still somewhere within the dome? I mean, everyone that listens to me knows that I read my Bible and I believe the Bible. So I believe that we're in a firmament, protected by the firmament. So are the rays from the sun always with us, both day and night, because we are in the dome? I don't know. That would be something. That's where
I don't, that wouldn't make sense, because the moon is there too. And the moon is actually, what was it? That was cooling. Because if you are in moonlight, it is colder than in the shade.
Yep.
Everything is for a reason. So
it is. I was always imagined that we're always engulfed by the light of the sun, and it is always with us. It never leaves us, and yeah. So I don't know. I mean, maybe something we may never have the answer to, but just another curious thought. Sue says hello to us and would also like to know the benefits of grounding.
Hold on, the benefits of what?
Grounding.
Okay, how do we explain that?
I mean, it definitely helps to decharge you. And I know you sleep on a grounding mat as well. I do the barefoot walking and tree hugging, and I don't know if you just got on, Sue, or not, but pretty soon I'm going to be doing the wooden comb and wooden hairbrush combing. So hopefully I'll be doing grounding from head to toe. But
yeah, you connect with the Earth's electrical energy. It's here described as grounding, also called earthing, is a technique some people use to connect their physical bodies to the Earth's electrical energy. Planet Earth has a negative electric charge. Some scientists theorize that there is a transfer of free electrons to the human body during grounding. This electrical conduction may lead to various physical effects, including pain reduction, changes in immune response, wound healing, effects on inflammation, and possible prevention and treatment of an autoimmune disease and chronic inflammation conditions. Well, we know that's all acidosis in the body. And they have a whole article about it, how you can do it. It's kind of sad that the first grounding techniques, they come up with mats, wrist or ankle band sheets, adhesive patches, and footwear. And but I would say there is nothing that that can compare to nature and the earth.
Nothing. Take your shoes and socks off.
Yeah.
Go outside. And
Yeah, the goal,
ground through the concrete.
Yeah. The goal of grounding is to restore an electrical connection with the earth. The connection is believed to have been lost in a modern industrial society in which people spend most of their time wearing shoes with rubber soles or living indoors. To practice grounding outdoors, you must ensure that your bare skin makes, of course, now I get advertising in front of me. Makes direct contact with the earth, which means taking off your shoes and socks. Ways to practice grounding outdoors include routinely walking barefoot in dirt, grass, or sand, standing in humid dirt or sand with bare feet, pressing your hands into the grass or earth, sitting on a chair, bench, wheelchair with your bare feet flat on the earth, laying flat on the dirt, grass, sand, and gravel with your back, legs, or arms bare. Submerging yourself in a natural body of water, such as swimming in a pond, lake, or ocean, gardening with your bare hands in the soil. So there are many ways we can do this. I always feel so special when I'm in any natural water. It's, lakes. My gosh, we swam in canals. And yeah, in the ocean. And they say if you are uncomfortable walking in public without shoes, consider bringing a small bag to store your shoes after you walk to a private spot. Well, actually, there are now shoes. They are considered being grounding shoes. And if you look that up, let me see, it's not in this article. How long to practice grounding? I don't think there is. You cannot do that too long. There's no such thing.
I mean, if you're concerned about walking barefoot, like if you live in the city and you just don't want to walk down, Madison Avenue in New York City barefoot, I don't blame you. But if you go to the park and you just sit down in there and take your shoes and socks off and place your bare feet on the ground, like you're just out there enjoying the sun for the day. People do that all the time. You see a lot of people doing that actually. So that's nothing out of the ordinary. But yeah, I mean, I live in an area where I can just walk around my home or outside and over at the farm with no problem doing that. The one part that I didn't hear them mention, which I did before, was hugging trees too. I mean, it sounds silly. I mean, I'm not like out there like hanging on the tree all day or anything, but I give it little hugs here and there as I walk by or little side things. But I also look at it too as they're so full of wisdom, and especially when you're in a group full of very large trees, you can just like talk with them, or even to like just think within them and just feel them. And especially if you're grounding amongst them, that's very powerful. And if you got your body clean where you can be in tune with your body, it's amazing the kind of things that you can get from them. Like sometimes I'll get chills while I'm sitting there. It's just really, really neat. It's an experience I think everybody should try to do.
There was something with a vitamin, and I forgot which one it was.
B12.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. Touch your trees. They're loaded up with B12 on their bark.
Yeah.
Watch for poison ivy, though. I don't know where people are in their detox journey, but I'm not saying you'll never get poison ivy. But the stronger your system is, the less likely a chance you are going to be able to get it. But just be aware of when you're out there, though, too. When I talk to people, though, I like to imagine that we all have the same amount of common sense. So, but I guess you still have to say, just be aware what you are grabbing too.
I have never seen poison ivy.
No, I'm sure it's around. Leaves a 3, let it be. Ingrid says, if you hug one tree, you are hugging the whole forest because they're connected. It's so true. So true.
Yeah, we're learning more and more about trees. I know a friend of mine once told me about a book there is about the life of trees and how they connect, how they communicate, how they help each other with, if one branch is falling over. It's quite amazing. You get more respect for nature.
You do.
And once you learn more about what it all is, you can enjoy it more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it completely changes your life. I was thinking about something that lately in the last few years, so many people have gotten away from living their life and with following all the, what do you call it, truthers around. It doesn't matter in which direction and which rabbit hole you go. But people seem to forget about counting. Well, I call it counting my blessings. And even with my tiny yard that I have, being out in nature there's more. It's enjoying life, even if it's on a small patch of soil. Instead of we spend so much time on our phones in our computers. We forget to enjoy life. I mean, you are out in nature a lot, and it's amazing the results that you have. And I wish everyone could experience that.
Yeah, I do too. I really do. It's gratitude, just being full of gratitude every day. And it can start as simple as I've worked with some people that have had PTSD, some pretty bad PTSD, and it starts out very small. And that's how everything in your life starts out, because it all starts out with the man in the mirror. It has to start with you. So, I mean, just that little bit of gratitude of, I'm breathing today. Okay. I have a roof over my head. The sun is shining. I can get up and walk around still. It's just, there's so little bit of gratitude. I can remember back when we first started recycling years and years and years ago. You first are like, well, I can recycle everything, but you had to divide everything and it just became so overwhelming and complicated. So it was like, okay, just know the one thing you can recycle, and then you master that, and then you build onto the next thing and the next. And then now it's when you go to the store, try to buy stuff that doesn't have this packaging that, you can't do anything with, which I do know there's a whole thing about recycling out there too and whatnot, but it's just as an example. And you just start trying to find ways of how you can make a difference, how you can make a difference. And then the ripple effect just happens. And a lot of that does start with gratitude, or smile at somebody, or give somebody a compliment. You have no idea how powerful a smile is for somebody. And you can change somebody's whole world just by smiling at them and giving them some of your energy. And you know how the forest is all connected, the trees are, we are all connected too. And by helping people that way, or just sharing a little bit of your energy, can go a long way. I actually I do that I call it a game for myself. And I like to go around and just see how far I can, I don't know, I can feel my own energy. And so I try to push it out and see how many people I can touch. And especially when I'm with my mom, a lot of people will come up to us and talk to us. And I already know when they're going to come to us and talk to us before they get there. I'll tell her, I bet you this person's going to come over here. And they do. And so we kind of play that little game of we're sharing our energy with people wherever we go. And we're just letting it touch people. And it's an unending amount of energy. You're not, I guess you're sharing the universe energy, and you're just pushing it out. It's not like it's robbing you of your own energy, because when that does happen, it's we're getting more charged from it too. And it's very interesting, very neat. And once you start just really honing in on your own feelings, your own emotions, it's limitless, really. It's very neat. So this
It's a good reminder, Sarah, because I when I go to a grocery store, I'm pretty much focused on what I need to get. I don't see anything around me, and I'm paying, and then I leave. And it's like, and sometimes I am more aware of my surroundings, but too often I'm not, and I should be. Because I did have, a few weeks ago, a gentleman coming up to me and he smiled at me and he was like, "Hi, how are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm doing great. How about you?" So all of a sudden there is, something special going on.
Yes.
And with that energy sending out, that is a good thing. I'm gonna try that.
Absolutely. And it's amazing because now it's like you just had an energy exchange with people and you've helped each other. And then somebody you don't even know saw that interaction and they felt like a little like spark within them light or something. And, then they might go and do that too. And so I love playing with the magic of the universe like that. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, very good. And it's part of you feeling happy and at peace. And yeah, sharing positive energy, it's healing.
Contagious.
For the receiver, I think for the receiver and the sender.
It is. It's just like these shows too. When I get off these shows, like sometimes I get on these shows and I'm not like, sometimes I'm a little tired or, I'm still working too. And so I'm not whatever. But when I get off these shows, I'm so charged with energy because it is the energy exchange I need. And it's the energy exchange I want to be exchanging with people too. So that really helps me as well.
So you always feel like after this, okay, what's next?
Exactly. I'm like, wow, I'm just gonna leave this computer and go and take off. Yes. Oh man. There was something else I wanted to talk about. It went along with the combs and the brush, but I can't really remember it. But however, my ginger shampoo plant is getting very tall. I mean, it's probably almost 2 feet tall now.
Yeah.
And nothing else is growing on it yet, but I'm hoping that maybe I didn't miss this season. Or
No, we checked here and it's not flowering yet. It's more, it takes another month, I think.
okay, good.
No flowers yet. And we have really tall ones.
Okay,
I
cool.
think they're easily 4 or 5 feet.
Oh wow, nice. I'm going to get a bigger pot for it. But I'm very, very excited
Yeah,
about
I don't have them in the pots. I have them in the soil. They're in the
oh,
ground.
yeah.
So they grow wild.
Yeah. I mean, mine do have to be kept on a pot because it's going to get cold before long.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
here we are already in August. Oof.
yeah. Yeah, my husband said because he is the one cleaning up after they done blooming. And he's like, "Do you realize how much liquid is coming out of that?" I said, "Yeah, we need to catch that." I was looking at me like, "Are you crazy?" He said, "Yeah, it's shampoo, soap."
Are you crazy? He looks at you like you're crazy
Yeah,
still.
yeah. Well, yeah,
That's just the natural look my husband gives me.
yeah. It was
Um,
no, I think it was more of like, "Oh wow." But it's, I never knew that. I mean, we've had these for 15 or more years. And once they're done blooming, it's like, oh my gosh, it's such a mess cleaning them up. If you grab them, there's all this soapy stuff and
well, there it
not
is.
even realizing that you can use it. It's nature. But yeah, you have to be careful with plants because there's a lot of toxic stuff around there too.
Yeah, that's true. And snakes and spiders and lizards. But the other thing I started getting curious about are like the snakes. And I saw a picture of a bunch of little or a video of a bunch of little gardener snakes where they were all living together. And they were, I guess they saw something, heard something. I don't know what it was, but they were all poking their head out at the same exact time. And I think there was probably like maybe 10 or 12 of them. Plus the mom was there and she like came out in front of them to make sure everything was okay. So a lot of people think like snakes are just bad and like they're the serpent and it's just bad, but are they? I mean, like, I know they're good for nature, but do they really have these complex living, with their family, or the mom is protective over the baby still? My thought process about snakes all the time was that they're born, the parent leaves them, and they all just fend for themselves, and they're just scary and bad and stuff. And then I saw somebody also giving water to a giant king cobra. And from the video, it looked as if it was a wild king cobra. Like, they did not look like they were in a zoo or any kind of controlled environment. And the snake was there, like, taking water from a bottle that the person was holding. And then I saw, just 2 nights ago, I saw somebody giving a rattlesnake water, and the rattlesnake was like rattling just a little. And again, they were out in the woods somewhere, and the person was just dumping the water on the rattlesnake, and the rattlesnake was drinking the water, like, as it was pooling on its body. And so there's, like, not that I'm going to go out and hunt snakes or whatever, but just in the whole magic of this, our whole entire universe of so much we don't know and untapped information, what more don't we really know that we've been lied to about? And, are snakes anything that they care about each other, or that they have complex families or anything like that? I don't know, but I think that's another just part of the puzzle that we don't know anything about either.
No, and there is a fear for snakes. I don't have any fear for snakes. We knew that when we were hiking, wear boots and don't go really bare feet in areas where you have rattlesnakes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, everything has a purpose.
It does.
And it may be a purpose as food for another, or it's the same as I have. This is funny. I have this cockroach in my bathroom, and I see it maybe once a week, and every every week it's a little bigger. And I have seen a cockroach with wings, and then it's huge. So I'm not happy about it, but I kind of hesitate to put something out to kill it. And we usually try to capture them in a mason jar and take it outside, because I don't want them in the house. That's one thing that is for sure. One time they built a nest in a lingerie drawer in my bedroom. And I didn't find it until I finally got into that drawer because I needed one, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I will take them outside if we can.
They, but Florida and cockroaches kind of go hand in hand anyway. I think that they're not like the cockroaches that we think about more up north, where they like infest the home. They're different, aren't they?
I don't know. They talk about German roaches. Those are supposed to be the small ones that you see a lot in what they say up north. And I don't know why they call German roaches. In Holland, I got spiders in my house, but never roaches. I've never seen one. But then again, it's the same as with a wasp. You only had the yellow jacket there. Here you have a variety. And we know how aggressive the yellow jacket is. They don't, ask first. They bite or sting first. But it's with the roaches. They too have a purpose. And it's sad enough that there is a need for them to come in the house, including these tiny light colored ants. They are so tiny that you can barely see them, but you do feel them. And so if I put some cat food out, they're not sugar ants. They come after the cat food. Well, it can be covered with ants within an hour. So that's not what you want in your house. And I do use some traps. Or
But
vinegar works too.
A tropic kind of area though too, so you're gonna have more stuff like that as well.
It is actually, I found it not that bad. I don't know if we talked here about it or it was in one of the groups. It was about the recluse spider and the areas where you have those spiders. And in Florida, it was not that common. And I was thinking, well, we know Marcy, Dr. Morse's right hand for many years. She was bit by a recluse spider, which was in Florida, not too far from here. A close friend of mine who lives in Pensacola was bit by a recluse spider. Now, Marcy died. I lost touch with my friend here. I don't know if he's still alive, but he had a wound on his leg or his shin that just didn't close. And I have seen a recluse spider here on the front door, on the doorknob, actually. But I recognized it and just stayed away, and I hoped the spider went away.
Mm-hmm.
But in the house, it's not bad. Actually, it's not bad at all. I know people freak out with roaches, but we don't. I see them once in a while, and it happened that my cats got them before I ever did.
Yeah. I do just think that it's your climate. I know that the roaches, I think down there, I mean, I'm sure there are, but they do have like flying cockroaches and stuff like that in Florida, which are, definitely not the same exact ones we have up north. We have bathroom spiders and I don't do anything to them. I tell them, I say,
No,
you
as long
got it,
I'm not.
that's it.
Yeah, I grew up with a lot of fear of spiders. So as a kid, I forced myself to look at them and take pictures of them to get over my fear, which pretty much works. But I don't really want anyone crawling over me.
No, I don't either. And that's why I tell them, like, if I catch you anywhere in here, out of here, all I do is I get my broom and I let them crawl on there and then I retake them outside. I never kill them. Let me tell you that. So they get put on a broom and they get taken outside, no problem. And I have spiders all over the barn. So, I mean, I probably have spiders in my hair sometimes. I don't even know about it. But, you're up in the hayloft, you're moving around, there's spiders. It's going to happen. And then the other thing, my husband has been bit, I think almost 5 times by brown recluse. And he has really bad scars from them too. But he healed. This was all during his time. I don't know exactly where he was, but he was with the military. And so he was bit more than a few times by them.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
I only heard horror stories about it.
yep.
So I do feel that the way that we are eating and we are on a high fruit way of living,
Mm-hmm.
then our body can handle way more than when the body is acidic. And that's just, that's normal. That's logic.
It is. And I do remember what I was going to talk about. I don't know how I forgot this, but I have had 1 mosquito bite this year. That is it. That is amazing because
Yeah.
usually I have a lot more.
Yeah, and the weird thing is I don't get bitten by mosquitoes and my husband still does.
Yep, I do not.
And we have a lot here in Florida.
Yep. I mean, we get a lot of mosquito bites up here too. And I have not been bit by, I've only been bit 1 time. And I don't even I think it was, I mean, it was like on the back of my knee and that's all it was. But we have a lot of mosquitoes up here and none have, just that 1. My son has had 1 and my husband, I think, has maybe had like 3 and he is a magnet for them. So last winter was my first winter without winter eczema on my hands. And this will be my first summer with only having 1 mosquito bite. So I'm going to keep moving on my path the way I'm moving. And I'm enjoying seeing how my body is reacting and how nature is reacting to me and around me. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful journey.
It is, and there's no way back.
Mm-mm.
There is just no way back. And I was going to mention something, and now I cannot remember the name. And that is a disease that was announced as an outbreak in Orlando, not too far from where I live, only an hour away. And that didn't even exist anymore here. And now we have an outbreak in Florida. And now I forgot what it is.
Is it like like a smallpox or
No, it is, they had, when people had it, they put them like in colonies.
I don't know.
My gosh, and it kind of like eats your fingers away and your nose away, and when you have it, and
Look it up.
I'm sorry?
Is it meningitis?
No. My gosh, now I cannot remember that. And I was thinking about it, like,
Leprosy.
huh? Leprosy. There we go.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. It's just another scare thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was diagnosed in Orlando as being, and I was like, well, that will keep people out of Florida.
Yeah.
But I only saw one news article about it, and then it's been quiet. And I think that we have to get to a point that we're not afraid of any of those. There really are no infectious diseases. There's only a dirty terrain, your body.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to go into to dig into that, how that works or cannot work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I find that interesting too, that leprosy, and then, they keep talking about in scripture and stuff that is this the time, the year, or whatever, when, we start seeing more of the miracles of the Bible and Jesus returning or God returning to earth. And then now they find leprosy in Florida and all the other things that have been happening in the world. That's interesting as well.
I see just now that it was on Fox News on USA Today. Leprosy could become endemic to Florida. Here is what you need to know.
Mm. Well, again, just like Toni said, keep your terrain clean, and then you don't have to worry about much. You have to worry about a lot less, I should say.
Yeah, they call that a chronic progressive bacterial infection caused by the bacterial whatever.
I also ran across somebody, I cannot remember the word of it, but they have brown marks under their breast area, under their armpit area, down their rib cage, and the trunk of the body where a lot of heat is more held. And the doctor is going to treat it with a shampoo body wash that's like an antifungal. I think it's called keratin body wash or something like that. And they said that it was a cause from an overproduction of yeast within the body that is coming out through the skin now.
Interesting.
And so all they gave them was a body wash shampoo. And I'm looking, I said, well, what else did they tell you to do? They have to use it twice a day for 2 weeks and then once a week for maintenance. I said, okay, that's how they're going to treat it topically. But if your body is so full of yeast overgrowth, what are they going to do to treat it from within?
Yeah, the cause.
They didn't discuss that.
Nope.
So I said, so you're just going to use a body wash once a week for the rest of your life? Or like what did they ask you to do after that? Well, nothing. This is my instruction so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
yeah.
they don't think anything beyond that. Like, this is just what I will do from now on.
Yeah, and who knows what's in the body wash?
Exactly.
How much more toxins you put in there. But I think when people see that there is no real healing, then, you would stop.
Right. But they're just now going to add this to their medicine cabinet and use it weekly now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. My mind does not work like that. And it baffles me that other people's minds don't work like that too. And then I have to step back, and even when you try to explain it, it's almost like nothing's getting through either. So I don't
No,
know.
but it's people look up to doctors. They are, you have something and they will fix it. So now they don't have to be afraid anymore. I
Mm-mm.
do see more and more people who are actually afraid of the doctors and don't even want to go there.
Mhm. Yep.
But I remembered, and when I was so sick that I was happy that they brought me to the hospital because now I would be fixed.
Yes.
Not realizing that there was no fixing. They just tried to pump me full of all kinds of medication because they had no clue what was going on. And I refused all the medication. So now I was like a mental patient because I didn't do what they were telling me to do. And I walked out of the hospital and they told me to never come back. But it is, I absolutely understand that it is difficult to go against, what they tell you to do because they seem to have the answers, but they have no answer at all. And eventually, you ask the questions, why don't you go to the cause? Is it really healing if you are on a certain medication for the rest of your life? My sister was for, well, what is it, 50 years on blood pressure medication. It
Yeah.
was never fixed.
No. So
She's
basically,
she's
I'm
not
just
she
going to
yeah,
maintain.
and she's not with us anymore.
Hmm.
And yeah.
Yep. It's like a maintenance that now I'm just going on this maintenance schedule.
But it seems so normal. Even I see it even with people who use herbs
Hmm.
and or supplements like for the rest of their life. And it's like, no, we use it for a short time because it helps us, it helps the body with healing and then we stop.
Yep.
But it is, we all understand it's not easy, that whole healing process of the body, to understand it and to trust it.
Yes.
To trust that there is really nothing else that you can do. The people come up with even the cold, so many symptoms, and it's like, take a step back and rest. And that's what we often forget, or too often just cannot do.
Right.
If you have a full-time job and you feel sick, but you have to keep working, it's difficult to heal. And I absolutely get it that you want to have a quick fix, but a quick fix is never helping, because if you do not address your symptoms and you suppress them with whatever you are taking, it will come back with a vengeance. And that is often where pneumonia comes in. People have a cold, suppress it, keep going, think, oh, the cold is gone. Then they get a cold again, and now they get pneumonia. And that was another thing. My sister actually had pneumonia pretty much every year.
Mhm.
And as if it was normal.
Yeah. People need to go and look up Dr. Morse on rawfigs.com and type in pneumonia and see what he has to say about that. And even the flus and the colds that we get, he calls them a healing opportunity, because during your flu, your cold, or your sickness, your body is given its all to help you detox during that time. So whatever's coming out needs to come out. And I think he even talked about on there some other things about like, he likes to hug people that are sick, so that way he has the opportunity to get more out of his body. So definitely go and listen to those. Type in pneumonia, type in cold, flu, listen to those little tidbits that he has in there. They're just like little, the rawfigs.com takes you directly to the moment he starts talking about that. And so that's a very good website to have for his information.
Yes, and all other Dr. Morse's websites can be found on drmorse.health,
Mm-hmm.
and it will guide you to all of them,
Yep.
including where now the new videos are.
Dr. Morse TV.
Yeah, drmorse.tv. It's all great information, and he makes weekly videos
Yes.
where we can still, every time I listen to it, it's like, oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't nearly, not even 1% of the knowledge that he has.
Nope.
But he's an amazing person
He
and
is.
always willing to help.
Mhm.
They do now. I don't know if I mentioned that to you, but I was listening to Patty Lager, and she is a professor. She works with Dr. Morse. She does videos. Her latest video, the first 17 minutes, was actually about her dog, and he died soon after. But I was listening to the whole video, and it's an hour or more, and she started talking about cell salts, tissue salts. And Dr. Morse has said in his older videos that, yeah, he was like, it won't hurt you, but I don't believe they're helping you. And I heard Patty say that he talks about it more and more now on the courses, because he does courses together with Patty. And so I have been diving into that, which is, and I have used it in the past. I mean, I grew up when I was in my early 20s. My physician was a homeopathic doctor, and I was with him until I left for the United States. But she brought on a book, and that is called The Biochemic Prescriber. And it's all about the cell salts, and it says biochemic medicine was discovered over 100 years ago by a German physician, Dr. Wilhelm Heinrich Schussler. And he analyzed the ash content of human cells and identified 12 inorganic tissue salts that are essential for the healthy functioning of the human body. He showed that where there is a deficiency of any of these salts in the body tissue, certain typical symptoms arise. You can use these symptoms to identify the specific deficiency in the patient. And there was the first one in the book was calcarea phos. And you use that when you have problems with your teeth, aching in bones, joints, and muscle, dental cavities, bloated tummy. So there were a few things that I thought, this is interesting. I am going to dive into this. So I got the book, and I also already recommended it to a few people. And it's a very cheap. It's only a few dollars. The Biochemic Prescriber. And if you're interested in that, and I do feel, and if Dr. Morse is feeling that this could actually be an addition into what we do with the change in our diet, sometimes, we need the body may need a little bit more, or maybe a little bit faster. So I'm testing it now myself.
That is interesting. Almost like given like to me, that's almost like a supplement. I don't know anywhere near enough about that to talk about that, so I will not yet.
Cell salts. What is his name? He has been on Charlie's show also. What is his name?
I know the whole celery thing was all about the cell salts.
No, not really.
Stuff.
Really?
That's what was claimed.
Oh, no. I know. I have not heard that, so I cannot say yes or no, but I've never heard that. But I'm trying to think about the name of he has this channel, Synchronicity.
I don't know. That's not ringing a bell to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, Charlie, I know that Charlie learned a lot from him. Santos.
Oh, yeah.
Santos is really big into cell salts, into tissue salts. So, and it is a natural thing. It's not, but it doesn't say what the ingredients are. It's just that it is cell salts.
I wonder if it's like something you just take for a certain period of time and then stop.
Yeah, absolutely. As is with everything, it just helps your body heal. And in addition, the same way that we use the herbs, we use it for a while. And so the body can further heal. Although I am also a believer that your body can heal if you are consistent with your diet and you do like what is it, natural hygiene, say 50-50. I would prefer, actually, when I go with Dr. Morse, it's like 70%, 70-80% fruit, and the rest is lettuce. But we may need a little bit more lettuce. We may need a little bit more of the minerals that we can find in the soft leafy greens.
Yep.
And I absolutely believe that the body can heal without any other addition.
It can. And I mean, I believe that as well too. I think it just depends on where you are on the acidic levels and within your body. I mean, if you're already at 7, you're in a very critical area and you will be needing some help. Not in all cases, but in majority of the cases, you will be needing help. That's why we've said before a long time ago, even if you're not feeling anything, even if you think you are perfectly healthy and your blood work shows you're perfectly healthy and everything too, which I'm not a fan of blood work, but I'm just saying, if you've had it checked and all the allopathic community says you're perfectly healthy, that is the exact time when you should start trying to start reversing stuff, especially if you're still eating the, standard American diet. You need to really get in there and start doing stuff before these fires need to be put out, before you keep creeping up in levels on the acidity chart. The natural hygiene diet might, be good for you at that point, or doing a slow transition into the fruits and, just some of the greens and stuff, staying away from the processed foods. It is so much easier to do the transition while you're still, quote, healthy than it is when you're fighting a forest fire within your body. You do not want to get to that level. You want to start right now before it gets there.
Absolutely. But, we have even young people in the early 20s, and so much happened in their life already, and they don't seem to heal enough on the fruits and the veggies. And it's like we do have to look into what else can be done. Yes. And for me, if cell salts or even energy healing can progress the healing, can help with the healing, then we should look into that. But I know I will never look into things like vitamins and added minerals.
Nope. Nor will I. What I just said too, I mean, it has no age limit on that. I mean, babies are being born into this world already needing help. It's the only limit, and the only number I'd put on anything is where you are on the acidity chart. It doesn't matter if you're 2 years old or 75 years old. Wherever you are on that acidity chart, you just want to make sure you're getting a handle on it before it gets out of control. So if you're not feeling anything, great, take your time moving over to this lifestyle. But if you're in critical area, you might be needing herbs or these new cell salts Toni is talking about that Dr. Morse is bringing up. You're going to be needing to be in contact with one of the practitioners, such as Toni or someone else from Dr. Morse's group, where you can be guided and get the attention and the help you need.
Yeah, and you know what? We do often think we are super healthy, and even when there are frequent headaches or constipation or itches, etc., those are all signs of a body that is getting acidic. Hi, Tom. Tom just came on, or maybe he's the one who just said something. Well, hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
We are about to close. We are already 18 minutes past the hour. Yeah. So I would like to thank everyone for being here, listening to us chatting about a variety of topics.
Yes, if anyone ever wants to join, Toni always provides a link at the top of the chat. Or, of course, if you don't want to come on and talk, just drop your comments here in the chat and we'll get to them as we move along.
We will do our best to answer it. It's a fun thing to do. So thank you for being here again, Sara.
Absolutely.
You have so much insights in many things.
I have a curious mind.
You surprise me every time. Well, Me too. That's why we're doing this and learning more while we're doing it.
Yes. And
So
I love being kid-like. I mean,
yeah,
sometimes it can be immature, but you know what? Whatever. I have fun in life.
good. That's the most important thing. Enjoy your life. So
Absolutely.
guys, thanks all. Much love to you, and till the next time.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.